Hello, this is Tarregor. This video is a stream on twitch.tv, so it's going to look like a stream. Welcome to my vision of World of Warcraft Classic Plus. The design direction of my vision of Classic Plus is substantially different from that of retail WoW, Circus, Shadowlands, and the private servers, Vanilla Plus, and Turtle WoW. This is partially because this aims to fix Vanilla WoW's many problems first, flesh out and polish, starting here second, and add new content third. This is part of a playlist of videos. Check this video's description for a link to the playlist. The document displays my vision of WoW Classic Plus, and the document's version number is version 1.5.17. All versions of the document are based upon patch 1.2.12 of World of Warcraft. If you just want to know about the general design direction of my vision of Classic Plus before you otherwise look into this, then watch an introductory video in this playlist, or review the document yourself and look at the list of major features. The link to the document is on my channel's About page. That and I do not have a team of people, or however, work to be and make an actual private server edits. This is all PR design thus far, and it ain't done yet. Now, before I get into this, you're going to want to know what profession cooldowns and profession level restriction variables are. Most examples of profession cooldowns from vanilla are engineering bombs. This is what the glossary says about profession cooldowns and profession level restriction variables. Profession cooldowns, sometimes referred to in this document as profession buffs, are specific combat-altering bonuses and /or abilities that are not necessarily tied to equipment that primary professions grant in order to make engineering not be the end-all be-all best profession in the entire game by leaps and bounds. Such buffs include the profession granting a permanent bonus to a stat, or granting an activated ability of some sort, or granting the ability to use an item or enchant that requires having the profession a specific profession level or higher, and possibly with a specific profession specialization in order to be allowed to make use of it in the first place. Of course, you'll lose your profession buff / cooldowns if you drop the profession. Profession level restriction variables. This is the character level that best corresponds to a specified profession level, concerning how powerful the items are that you are allowed to craft at a given profession level. For example, a character level of 8 best corresponds to a profession level of 65, and a character level of 54 best corresponds to a profession level of 295. I have However, that term will not exist in the actual game if it ever manages to exist. It's just going to be used to help design the game. Anyway, before the actual changes comes the agenda for the changes. I generally want to make tailoring be as good for rating as engineering is from a standpoint that is not financial. I want to flesh out the game. I want to cut down on professionals to improve the economy. I want to make certain non-valuable regions be more valuable, and I want to do things that are related to other sections of this document. Now then, tailoring pattern changes, first off. Before the actual products comes how you make them. Soul pouches in addition to their vanilla reagent costs. Well, it will also require 1 essence of NF to be crafted. Felt cloth bag, in addition to its vanilla reagent requirements, will additionally require 4 essences of NF. The core felt cloth bag also requires 10. Rune-Stacking belt also requires 1. Rune-Stacking boots also requires 2. Rune-Stacking pants also requires 3. Felt cloth boots, hood, and pants will also require 1. And felt cloth robe and shoulders will additionally require 2. This is to go towards there, I worded that better. This is to go towards making Essence of Undeath not be vendor trash. Frostweave gloves and pants will require 2 globes of water instead of 1 essence of water to craft. This is to help to make globes of water not be vendor trash. Bottomless bags, in addition to their vanilla reagent requirements, will also require 8 cured rugged hides to craft in order to make sure that cured rugged hides stay valuable forever. Well, for as long as possible anyway. Reasonably possible, however the hell. Mooncloth circlet gloves, robe, shoulders, vest, leggings, and boots will require half as much mooncloth to craft, rounded up to make the items be worth crafting. Colorful kilts will be learnable at 95 tailoring, down from 120 tailoring, because it is weird that a level 14 item required 100 tailoring to craft. Sylvan Vest and Azerothian Embrace, formerly called Gaia's Embrace, will require Black Lotus oil instead of Bloodvine to craft, and so they will not get... And so, going by my endgame reward system, they'll be able to be allowed to be blue items instead of epic items, because they will not require mats that are exclusive to 40 main raids to craft. Now then, tailoring product changes. There's not much here. People reading this should take note of section number 3.0.5, sweeping itemization changes, and section number 3.0.6, itemization methodology, or their respective videos. These section divisions will have a tremendous impact upon most tailoring patterns after I get around to making it happen. Now then, Robe the Archmage, Robe of the Void, and True Faith Vestments will no longer require tailoring to wear, and they will be bind on equip instead of bind on pickup. So you won't have to be a tailor to wear them anymore. Mooncloth's cooldown will be increased by this variable in order to cut down on professional to increase the value of Mooncloth. Its tooltip will reflect that its cooldown is lower at higher character levels. However, the making of Mooncloth will require 3 times as much Velcloth and will produce 3 times as much Mooncloth per cooldown, so 3 of them, due to professionals being nerfed so hard. Now, what does this actually come out to? Say you're a level 53 guy. So, 60 minus character level 53, that is in parentheses, so multiply that by 8. So 56% longer. So that 3-day cooldown becomes 4.68 days if you're level 53. Now say you're level, now I'll use the most extreme example. Say you're level 35. 60 minus character level, that's 35. Now multiply that by 8. You get 200. That's 200%. So 3 days times 3 equals 9 days. Mooncloth will have a 9-day cooldown if you're level 35, but it'll only be a 3-day cooldown if you're level 60. And it'll be somewhere in between if you're at somewhere in between those levels. Anyway, next up. Coarse thread will be renamed to linen thread. Fine thread will be renamed to woolen thread. Heavy silken thread will be renamed to mage weave thread, and its icon will be changed to be pinker and brighter. You know, this actually goes here. Yeah, heavy silken thread. No, wait, that's right. It doesn't go here. It does go here, yeah. Yeah, heavy silken thread will be renamed to mage weave thread, and its icon will be changed to be pinker and brighter. Rune thread will be renamed to runic thread, and its icon will be changed to be purple. Linen, woolen, silken, mage weave, and runic thread will no longer be sold by vendors. Instead, tailors will craft the thread themselves. 5 linen thread may be crafted from one linen cloth at 1 skill, being yellow at 1 skill, turning green at 8 skill, and turning gray at 15 skill. 5 woolen thread may be crafted from 1 wool cloth at 75 skill, being yellow at 75 skill, turning green at 8 skill, and turning gray at 85 skill. 5 silken thread may be crafted from 1 silk cloth at 125 skill, being yellow at 125 skill, turning green at 127 skill, and turning gray at 130 skill. 5 mage weave thread may be crafted from 1 mage weave cloth at 175 skill, being green at 175 skill, and turning gray at 180 skill. 5 runic thread may be crafted from 1 rune cloth at 250 skill, being gray at 250 skill. You know, I just thought of something. I just thought of something. Give me a bit here to type all this shit out. Where's the fucking Y button? I have to actually look at a keyboard. One linen cloth may be crafted from 5 linen thread at 1 skill, being gray at 1 skill. So basically, I'm making all the cloth into thread recipes be gray when you get them, and I'm letting you turn back into cloth because I just thought of that just now somehow. How did it take me so long to think of it? You know, this is a relatively recent change anyway, but fuck. It should not have taken me that long to think of this. There. Okay, now I just gotta put that into changelog. I'll do that now before I forget. Uh, okay, that's better. Now then, next up. Tailors will be able to turn 20 silk cloth at a lesser than necessary essence into 20 mage weave cloth, which is a 1 minute cast time, and it's taught by tailoring trainers. It's 175 skill. Tailors will be able to turn 20 silk cloth and a lesser eternal essence into 20 rune cloth, which is a 1 minute cast time, and it's taught by trainers at 250 skill. No longer will mage weave and rune cloth be some kind of mystery cloth. The Burning Crusades, housegun pantaloons, housegun jacket, red winter clothes, and green winter clothes will be craftable by tailors because why the hell not? Now then, tailoring profession cooldowns. This is what makes tailors be able to compete with engineers in raids and PvP. Tailors will get to knit magical embroideries into their shirts. Yes, shirts. The cosmetic only slot. Now it's not just cosmetic only if you're a tailor. So yes, this will permanently enchant your shirts and make them BOP, of course. Their specifications are as follows. To crowd controlling effects from all non-major embroideries, that is, all embroideries that are not labeled as major, these have a reduced chance to affect enemies above the embroidery's profession level restriction variable, as I mentioned earlier, +8, such that they have the 3% lower chance to work per level higher that the enemy is than that profession level restriction variable +8. Furthermore, you must have enough tailoring to craft them to benefit from them in any way, shape, or form. So, for example, if an embroidery gives you a passive effect, you will not gain that passive effect if your tailoring skill is not high enough. Even if you're already wearing it and then you drop the profession and then you got it back up to a lower level. High enough. Anyway, the list of embroideries. Fell embroideries. These kind of superior. This require. Oh, by the way, I'm going to go over this before I go over the rest of these. At 250 tailoring and level 45, tailors will get to specialize into either fell tailoring or lunar tailoring. Many tailoring patterns will be locked behind a specialization, of course including pattern mooncloth. Fell tailoring will be forbidden to paladins, shamans, druids, high elves, night elves, and tauren, while lunar tailoring will instead be forbidden to warlocks and the forsaken. Fell tailoring itemization is associated with fire damage and shadow damage, while lunar tailoring itemization is associated with healing and arcane damage. I'm probably not going to put, oh wait, Shadow Priest exists, is that right? That's right, never mind, never mind what I was about to say. Anyway, fell tailors may corrupt 12 silk cloth into 6 fell cloth at a corrupted moon well, such as the one in Fellwood, once per day, except the cooldown will be increased by the same amount as it is for moon cloth, if you're at a level below 60. This might be buffed to create more fell cloth at the cost of more silk cloth without the cooldown being increased. Furthermore, corrupted moonwells may no longer be used to craft mooncloth if it was not the case before. Now then, back to embroideries. This is the list of embroideries. Fell embroidery. This counts as superior. I should probably explain what this means. I'll just let it explain itself. Do what I can for that. Anyway, fell embroideries. I'm counting this as a superior enchant. Requires fell tailoring to make him benefit from. I'll just say this. The minor, superior, regular graders, the minor, lesser, regular graders, superior, major stuff is just for me to classify the enchants. It won't actually affect. It's just for classification. Anyway, fell embroideries. These require fell tailoring to make him benefit from. When you use a fell embroidery on a shirt, it lets you cast a spell called Shadow Blast, which deals 222 to 289 shadow damage with a 30-yard range. It is instant cast and has a 2-minute cooldown. It requires 260 skill and character level 42 to benefit from. And this shadow damage spell costs no mana. I think I put no mana in there somewhere, right? And using their activated abilities will cost 0 mana. A greater fell embroidery does the same thing, except it deals 283 to 269 shadow damage. Requires 300 skill and character level 50. Lunar embroideries. These require lunar tailoring to make a benefit from. It lets me cast a spell called Moonburn, which deals 616 arcane damage over 20 seconds, 5-second ticks. This is a 3-second cast time on a 3-minute cooldown. It requires 260 skill and character level 42. Greater Lunar Embroideries increase the damage to 888 over 20 seconds. It requires 300 skill and character level 50. Ruined Embroideries. These grant you 2% spell hit, plus 5 spell damage, and plus 11 healing passively, and they allow you to cast Lesser Polymorph. Polymorph from the target within 30 yards into a sheet for 6 seconds on a 2.5 minute cooldown with a 1.5 second cast time. This requires 285 skill and character level 47. Health regen for the mage spell applies. Minor Pulse Embroidery. When activated, this one gives you 75 spell damage for 18 seconds on a 3-minute cooldown. Requires 100 skill and character level 10. And then the items that are a Major Pulsing Embroidery. When used, this gives you 300 spell damage for 18 seconds on a 3-minute cooldown. Requires 300 skill and character level 50 to use. Minor Glowing Embroidery. This gives you plus 17 healing passively and allows you to instantly, and when used, allows you to instantly fear up to 4 targets within 8 yards of you for 2 to 3 seconds on a 6-minute cooldown. Requires 95 skill and character level 9. And then the items that are a Major Glowing Embroidery. Grants you plus 67 healing passively and allows you to when used, instantly fierce up to 4 targets within 8 yards of you for 2 to 3 seconds on a 6-minute cooldown. Requires 295 skill and character level 49. Unlike the lower level versions of Glowing Embroideries, the major one does not have a reduced chance to affect high level enemies, as is mentioned here. Minor Energetic Embroidery. When used, grants you plus 161 to 194 mana. This is an instant cast on a 3-minute cooldown and cannot crit. It requires 90 skill and character level 8. And then the items that are a Major Energetic Embroidery. When used, grants you 645 to 774 mana. Instant cast on a 3-minute cooldown, cannot crit. Requires 290 skill and character level 48. And then there's Enchanted Scarlet Embroideries. This is an Enchanted Scarlet thread found in Strap Live. When used, it heals the target for 574 to 746 hit points. With 40-yard range, instant cast, 5-minute cooldown. Requires 300 skill and character level 50. And then there are Frayed Abomination Stitching Embroideries. Made of course with Frayed Abomination Stitchings. When used, it erects a shield for 3 minutes that absorbs a combined total of up to 470 fire, frost, nature, arcane, and shadow damage before collapsing. Instant cast, 3-minute cooldown. 300 skill and character level 50 required. And yeah, that's all I got for tailoring changes. Unless I can think of something else real quick. No, I think I will just this here and paste it here. Right. And yeah, that's all I got for tailoring changes. Thanks for watching. Not one of my better videos. Considering the presentation.